what do you say to the skeptic who says all of this is just mental health issues? And, maybe you see some pretty weird stuff, some violent stuff, some people who are showing more strength than you would think they should have. But you know what? The human person is complex. And so what you're dealing with is not the demonic, not the supernatural like you think. What you're dealing with is just human brokenness. And labeling it the demonic is maybe the Christian way of understanding it is actually ultimately unhelpful. So how do you know that what you're dealing with in an exorcism is not just emotionally damaged people expressing that damage?
I think it just goes back to the recognition of faith. If you have faith, then believing is seeing. And for people today that may doubt or be, more scientific, they may use that word, what's the science of that? Mm-hmm. They always say, well, seeing is believing. I always have people say to me, well, it's very convenient that the church doesn't record exorcisms, because if you can record them and show them, then that would help us believe.
Right.
But again, we all know that things can be manipulated in so many ways today that even if people had that so-called, hard evidence, they would still say, it's been manipulated. It's not really true.
It surely would help some people. I mean, just like today's interview, there's going to be people who say that's ridiculous and you're making all this up. We're going to get to some stories soon. But then there will be people who will believe, like you told me earlier, that person who contacted you from Australia who said they became Catholic after listening to this show. So can't the same logic apply? Yeah, maybe some people seeing video footage of an exorcism will think it is being fabricated, but some will come to faith. So why doesn't the church film it for that reason?
I think the answer might be the flip side too. Will they come to faith, or will they come to a greater fascination with the demonic?
But the same could be said about this discussion. Someone will make that argument that this is just going to lead people to a fascination with the demonic, not God. So I'm going to just play devil's advocate and say, why not film them? I mean, and if you say, well, it's a matter of privacy, okay, well, either have the individual or their family sign a waiver beforehand, or even, that you then film it, and then maybe once that person's in their right mind, they can agree to then have this thing revealed. Why not do that? I can see why people would think that the church is hiding something when they have these exorcists telling these fantastic stories, but there's no evidence for it.
I think that it's not only the exorcists that have these stories. I think a lot of people do, just from the experience that they've had. But my response to all of this would be that the church is more interested in turning on the light of Christ in the lives of people who've fallen into darkness rather than TV cameras. So it's not the light from the camera, but it's the light of Christ that people need. And that's really where the main focus should be.
That's not going to convince a lot of people.
Probably not, but
that's not what you're about. You're not here to convince people. Men, have you checked out Exodus 90 lately? If you've heard of Exodus 90 before, you're probably thinking Lent and cold showers. But the Exodus 90 app offers so much more. It's a daily companion to help you grow closer to God and to become the man you want to be. I've been following along with the app's daily scriptures, reflections, and prayers, and it's awesome. On the app, you'll learn more about St. Michael's Lent, which starts August 15th and leads up to the feast of St. Michael the Archangel on September 29th. St. Francis received the stigmata during St. Michael's Lent in 1224, and he observed this sacred time out of his profound devotion for St. Michael. Join the men of Exodus 90 and Father Carlos Martins, a renowned exorcist and host of the Exorcist Files, who will serve as a spiritual guide for St. Michael's Lent this year on the Exodus 90 app. We will awaken to the invisible realities and enter into the spiritual battle that rages around us all the time. Go to exodus90.com/Matt for a 14-day free trial to the Exodus 90 app and to learn more about St. Michael's Lent. That's exodus90.com/Matt to join us for St. Michael's Lent starting August 15th.